So here I am, Wednesday, recording my other Wednesday show. So far this last few weeks I've done this Wednesday's show, this Wednesday's show, and I guess today's one is going to be called the other Wednesday show. Today is recycling day, and I decided instead of waiting for Scott to come and then go for my run, I would leave early, go for a run at 8:30 in the morning. Also, today is my yoga day at the end of the day, so this way I space out by exercising a little bit more over the day. I slept really well last night. It was good. I ate well as well. I had a beautiful steak and new potatoes and carrots. Oh, there's a runner up ahead. So this is San Juan Avenue. It's also called the San Juan Greenway. They would rather the cyclists use the Greenway. It's road, but it's a pedestrian / cycling / neighborhood street. It doesn't have those speed bumps. It's not a particularly useful route, so it doesn't get too much through traffic. Because that's what it boils down to. The roads that stay busy are the ones that have a bus route on them. To be the most obvious route from one place to another. Sometimes the crosstown routes have to do a fair bit of zigzagging. But I guess I should let you know the situation as it stands with Sandy's 100-mile race. She's going to go it alone. I think having me along won't help her on the day. I'll just be an added complication to her. We've done the training. She's ready. She just has to try and relax and breathe normally for the next 10 days or so. It's on the... Actually, it's more than... It's about 2 weeks from now. I think she told me she's leaving on the 10th of September, driving to the ferry and going across to Port Angeles, and then driving through Washington, past Seattle, and down the Oregon coast. So this is the 1 kilometer mark. I just heard the lady tell me. So yeah, Sandy, good luck, girl. I'm sure you'll make it. Just remember, don't stop moving. and you'll make it. I remember my first 100-miler was in Ontario, and I was so excited by the whole thing. We all had to go out into this wilderness camp area and spend the night under canvas. Everybody in that campsite was going to be running 100 miles the next morning. We started, I think, at 6 a.m. Still dark. And I went off like a 20-year-old. But later on I slowed down. That's the danger, the excitement of the race and not having run for a week or so. It is quite a liberating feeling. But in that race I got separated from a group and I took a wrong turn. And then I realized I was off course, so I headed back. Added about an extra hour to my run. Maybe another 6 miles, 5 miles. Yep. I'm on the Mount Douglas Creek Trail. I'm doing exactly the same run as I did yesterday. This will give me about an hour and 10-minute run, I'm guessing. I could pretty much leave my recorder going for the whole run, and unless it gets really noisy later on, I won't even have to edit. But I will have to drink, so I'll be stopping at the Mount Douglas parking lot washroom for some water. So this is 10 minutes in. Sandy was asking me if I could find out if they had live tracking. Hello. There's a young couple and a dog. So, when I came through here yesterday, they were doing some kind of roots or tree clearance. Yeah, I can hear some machinery. Yeah, they blocked off the trail with orange surveyor's tape. I think that's what they call it. Coming up on Ash Road, and I'll be in the cool of Mount Douglas Park in a few minutes, maybe 2 minutes. Apologies in advance for the road noise. think I have a 15-minute hydration reminder. I'm also listening to my favorite Grateful Dead podcast that I went to the trouble of downloading before I left, so that I could listen to the whole thing, even if I have to stop and reopen the file. Sometimes if you try and change things around, you lose the stream. Even if it's fully, if the whole packet of information is being loaded to, hey, it still loses it if you try and stop and start it. Sometimes if you just stop it and not do anything, it's still there. Other times you have to pick up another Wi-Fi signal. That's the trouble. Even though I have an iPhone, I don't have data. So 2K done. And this is going to be about a 10K run, maybe 11. Yesterday I stopped at the supermarket to buy food, so I didn't run the last little bit. Today I will. Yesterday I was thinking a lot about foot placement when you're running. I think it's very important to try and remember to lead with the big toe and not to fan your feet out like a duck. I think that shows that you're tired. If your toes go out, then you're not running as correctly as possible. Okay, this is the washroom. That's better. It's 15 minutes in. Another thing that I did last night, which I think helped me sleep better, was to drink a fair amount of water after I stopped drinking beer. I stopped beer at around 6 p.m. and started on water until I went to bed. Thank you. So, instead of waking up in the middle of the night with a bladder full of strong urine, I woke up in the morning with a nice water-filled bladder instead of a beer-filled bladder. Kind of literally flushed out the system. But that's just, I'm telling you these details because you're a runner, you understand things like this. Alright, so this is where the trail runs parallel to Cedar Hill Road. Unfortunately, I'm going to be accompanied by some cars, but they're about 50, no, maybe 20 meters to my left. Still not even 9 o'clock yet, so I don't think I'll come across any serious traffic issues from here on in. This is where Norma tripped on a tree root once. I always remember where people fall. Talking of falling, I had a bit of a bike accident on Saturday. I was cycling back from my run with Graham, and there was a couple of cyclists on the side of the road, on the opposite side of the road, and one of them had his bike wheel end up, so he must have either lost his chain or something. You know, he was working on his bike. I was looking at him, and while I was looking, the sidewalk suddenly came out and grabbed me. They've done some recent sidewalk upgrades, and they made one of those little parking bay kind of cuts in the sidewalk so that you can park off the main road. But I was following the gutter basically of the main road, and I got dragged in to this little lay-by, and when I was looking at the cyclists, I should have been looking how the sidewalk had been altered recently. Anyway, I fell quite hard. I was wearing my helmet, but my bicycle took quite a bang, and I think I must have either fallen on the brake lever with my body and broken it, or it fell on the ground and broke. Either way, I had to replace the brake lever or lever. So this is where I crossed Churchill Drive, the only road that goes up to the summit of Mount Douglas. But the gates close till noon, so the parking lot is full of dog walkers and runners, cars. The ones that want to go to the top wouldn't be here yet. They drive in around 10 to 12, and then they wait till it opens. The view is pretty nice, but the whole point of having a mountain nearby is to train on it, I would have thought. Mind you, not everybody is a trail runner. So, just about entering the glory zone, getting away from the noise. Makes a big difference, you know. noise pollution makes you tired. So I'm thinking toes pointing forward. The other thing about toes is another time I had one of these eureka moments was when I realized that I wasn't really using any of my toe connective muscles that share some of the work. And that's what it's all about. You've got to share the work of your feet with your toes. Think toes forward. All this foot placement might have something to do with my ankle pains. I don't know. So far, no hiking. It's been continuous running. So basically I'm heading south on Whittaker. Listening to some Grateful Dead in my earbuds and recording this for you with my Sony in my hand. Yep, this is the glory zone. So I'm just west of Harvest Lane, which is my closest access point to the trails. So I took a windier route to spend more time on trails. Yeah, I also pulled in the water break, which is what I originally planned to do. If I'd missed that water break, I'd be in bad shape by the time I get to Lochside. So very soon I have to hang a right onto a secondary bypass trail. Yeah, this is the next big tree. Here we go. Alley up. This is steeper, and this is where I start my hiking. I'm not sure if we have a plan, Sandy and I, to run today, but that's another reason I went early. Because I know if nobody else calls me, I have to cycle to yoga and back, and I have to do a yoga class. So that could be well enough for today. But I might end up with a couple of add-ons, depending on Derek and Sandy. Derek injured his hand at work the other day, and he doesn't want to go to the rec center with a band-aid on his hand. He's very concerned about bacteria. But he also doesn't like running in the heat, so he's kind of sleeping his way through August. I'm now coming up to the main Mount Douglas trails again. Up I go. This is the way I run to Graham's, plus the extra for the bathroom, drinking fountain. Hello.
Good morning.
Yep, this is slightly shorter than the route that I took yesterday because it goes more up and over the arch of Mount Doug, the foot part of Mount Doug. Yesterday I ran over the toes. Today I'm running over the arch of the foot. So it's steeper. That's why I'm hiking now. But pretty soon it levels off. I've done 4 kilometers so far. It's about 29 minutes, I guess. I'm doing a continuous recording today because my run will all be over pretty much by an hour. So as long as I don't have any technical glitches, I'll be putting out the other Wednesday show today, and it'll be about an hour and something long. Sandy emailed me yesterday about headlights. She's bought herself a 130 lumen handheld flashlight for the night section. I think she'll be very happy with it. Headlights tend to make you dizzy. And if there's a drizzle, headlights can be very distracting. And if there's a fog, forget it. With the handheld, you can pinpoint objects that you see in your headlight and cast a slightly different light on it, which would give you a slightly different shadow of the rock or the root. Yeah, that's what she has to watch out for, not tripping up. So Whitaker, I'm going to be on Mercer in a second. Yeah, she's just told me it's time for hydration, which means I've been running for about half an hour now. I'll make the next one, and this section is pretty much all shade until I get to Blenkinsop Road. Mercer down. I've been listening to Jim's podcast just lately. He put out a long one the other day. It's not so bad for me. I have lots of time to listen to podcasts, but I think there is an issue with the length of some shows. Most people don't have more than an hour to spare unless they're driving, I guess. For commuters, they probably listen to my show while they're driving. Mind you, I try and keep mine to under an hour. Obviously, when I run long with Sandy, I can't record continuously. So I have long times of non-recording that I'm yakking it up with Sandy. Well, yes, I just tripped. But I did not come down hard. I was protecting my recorder. And luckily, I locked the buttons. A tip that I believe Mr. Gwyn, the Prince of Pace, suggested that we all do for incidents just like that. I almost guaranteed I would have pressed pause or stop. So I'm now on the Gary Oak Meadows, and I can see enough of the screen of my recorder to know that it's still recording. I almost tripped again. This is the last of the treacherous stuff. I was just wondering about Sandy. She might be concerned that my eyesight might not help her at all during the night. She's run with me enough to know that I don't have 20/20 vision, as they say. It's one of the main reasons I retired early. It's my job. It's constant driving from client to client. Not much fun in the twilight hours. Okay, this is quite treacherous, but it's downhill. So I should be okay with this. Yep, well, Sandy is a fair bit younger than me. So she has the advantage of a younger heart, a younger body, fresher eyes. Maturity doesn't always pay dividends. Some of these age-related ailments, however much experience you have, it won't make you a good driver at the end of your driving career if you have vision issues. I used to be a good driver, but not anymore. I've had a couple of accidents. Accidents aren't fun. The older you get, the more you value life. Yeah, I think we've done 5 kilometers together so far at my pace. This has been continuous recording. Very soon I'll be crossing Blenkinsop Road and taking the Lochside rail trail all the way to Mount Douglas Crossroad and the drinking fountain. So my pace will increase, the likelihood of tripping will decrease, but I'll be exposed to a fair amount of sun in a few minutes. I'll also see Roy, Farmer Roy. I'm going to run by him today on the trestle bridge over Blenkinsop Lake. Yeah, well, Norman's still plugging away at the running game. I really enjoy listening to his last show. He had music, he had breaks, he had everything. And he didn't sound like he was terribly out of breath or complaining of the heat. He was recording when he was feeling comfortable, which is a good way to be. Except if you're only running total of 1 hour, you have to keep yakking the whole time, or put in a lot of music, which occasionally happens on my shows, occasionally. But I think I'll probably send this one out raw. There's something to be said to the simplicity of a raw program. Most people actually, they record and put out their content raw. I'm one of the few people that enjoys embellishing the odd show. So Low Runner is the road that I take off Blenkinsop Road down towards Lochside Trail. Every second now I'm going to lose most of the traffic. I'm on a farm access road. Very soon I'll be on Lochside Trail. Yesterday when I came down here, I managed to pick up, just as I got off the trail on Mount Doug, I just picked up quite a large granite chip in my tread of my new Asics running shoes. My trail shoes have got quite a gnarly tread, and they managed to pick up quite a sharp piece of gravel. I was running along here going clink, 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 clink. Every other step was the one with a stone in it. Anyway, it wouldn't normally concern me, but as a podcaster you have to try and eliminate as much of the unnecessary noises that you can. It should be just breathing, wind in the trees, rustling of leaves. Can't do too much about that. Traffic you can pause or you can avoid. But, jingling keys in your pocket, that sort of thing, you can leave them at home. We might get a goose training session again today. The Lochside Trail and the Blenkinsop Lake is one of the roosting areas for the local pod of Canada geese. And it's kind of like that they're practicing for their long migratory flight, but they never leave. They stay here the whole year. So, what's that all about? I think certain Canada geese migrate depending on availability of food where they are. There's a couple of runners up ahead doing the old run walk. Yeah, a couple of women. I think they probably underestimated the heat because they both have their jackets, their warm-up jackets, tied around their waists. Obviously, they didn't want to leave them behind. But I'm sure they're regretting even leaving the house with them today. I think they might be doing one-on-one. I've just seen them stop once. Oh, they have a dog with them. Hi.
Hi. I did run.
So they've now tied up the dog, so they won't be doing too much running now. I don't think. Lots of cyclists today. These look like tourists on rent-a-bike, that kind of thing. That'd be a nice business to run, a rent-a-bike business. Mind you, it always occurred to me that I should, when I go to the geese, I should organize guided running tours. All I need is a light minivan and a driver, and I could flag the hotels and leave my leaflets in the lobby, and they could email me and arrange when and where to run. Yeah, it could be good. Because I know all the trails. I wouldn't be much use to an elite runner, because I wouldn't be training fast enough for them. But I know the people they could train with, some of my faster friends. It's like a filtering system. You filter your way through coaches until you find the right level of training involvement. But I would probably suggest that you should look for a coach more for companionship and commitment than for improving your performance. That's the kind of coach that I am. I'll run at anybody's speed, except the fast guys. So Jim, yeah, glad you got over your cold, your bronchial sinus infection, whatever it was, bronchitis, that's right. I was thinking back to when you first started complaining of being sick, and that was shortly after the weekend of the reunion. I was thinking, oh God, maybe he's got Legionnaire's disease. But no, luckily enough, youthful body and antibiotics and running probably got rid of that one. Time for hydration. I'm out by about 7 minutes here, which isn't bad. I've still got the whole of the wooden bridge to do. So that means that I've been out for 45 minutes, I think. Yeah, about that. A couple of runners coming this way, a couple of women. Morning. Yeah, it was the case of a large young woman being passed by a smaller older woman. Yep, that's the nice thing about running. Age is not always an advantage. Youth, I should say. A rookie runner is a rookie runner, regardless of age. The only difference, I guess, would be potential of training. But I heard some very encouraging reports when I was in the geriatric field of how much benefit senior citizens get from exercise in general. They see probably the most rapid improvements. Hello, Roy. How are you today? There's Roy, the statue. I'm talking to a bronze man, a farmer who used to own this lake and this land, this farm that I'm running across. Used to be Farmer Roy, his land. More cyclists. Hi. 6:49 is my pace, and I've done 7K. Yeah, I think I might have it on workout average pace at the moment. I'll have to wait for the next K to tell you that. But you have to remember, I am multitasking. I'm listening to music, I'm running, I'm talking, and I'm recording all at once. No wonder I tripped when I did. Anyway, this is the flat gravel of Lochside. I could almost see the water fountain from here. Yep, I will pause. In fact, I will stop the recording when I hit the water fountain, because that will give me approximately 48 minutes. I could always look, I guess, but the way I have the pop filter elastic banded to the tip of my recorder, if I peel it back to look at the numbers, I will probably pop it right off, which will limit the kind of arm swing that I can do from then on. So I guess I'll just stop it when I get there. Hi. Mind you, I always used to record without the pop filter, but when I realized that it hardly made any difference to the volume of the recording, whether it was on or not, and it made a huge difference to the amount of avoidable noises. The wind from the arm swing was a constant companion to all my early recordings. So this is the running jackal, just about to take his second drink in 45 minutes. Yeah, a nice big water fountain. Alright, I just heard my Argus step counter tell me that I've done the equivalent of 10,000 steps. Hello. The Sikh lady sitting on a bench in the shade. Okay, so a bit of water for my head. She's not concerned about me in the slightest. She's just looking at her hands. Alright. The last little stretch, Mount Douglas Crossroad and the Blackberry Patch. So I've done 8 kilometers running, probably 2 kilometers of walking around today to make my 10,000 steps. Actually, 10,000 steps is not necessarily 10 kilometers, because when I'm on Mount Dark, my stride length is a fair bit shorter than when I'm on the Lochside Trail or this connector trail. Anyway, so Norman, Kevin, Jim, Bob, all my podcasting friends, get back to you soon, and you get back to me soon, okay? That's the deal. So, Mrs. Carlos signing out. Yeah, it looks as if I got 50 minutes. Good. Bye-bye.